I see head nods.
I can hear you really good, Steve.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
This is the special meeting, Monday, May 24th. The meeting will be held in person via WebEx, video conference, and streamed live on the internet. The public may join the meeting via WebEx in person in the meeting room or watch the live stream. If joining the meeting in person, the total number of persons, including commissioners, cannot exceed 10, and social distancing will be in effect. The governor of the state of Minnesota has issued Executive Order 20-01 declaring a peacetime emergency and coordinating Minnesota's strategy to protect Minnesotans from COVID-19. On March 24th, 2020, the Pine County Board of Commissioners declared a local emergency for Pine County. Based on these conditions, the chair of the Pine County Board of Commissioners has determined that the requirements of Minnesota Statute 13D.021 subdivision 1 have been met, and it is not practical or prudent for all members of the county board to meet in person. The public is invited to join the meeting in person or remotely. And with all that said, we'll call the meeting to order and rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We have a public hearing for two projects today. We are going to take the broadband project first. And so this is a hearing that has to do with the Department of Employment and Economic Development, DEED, Community Development Block Grant, Coronavirus Project, short for CDBG-CV, get all that. Broadband Expansion Project for areas of Census Tract 9504 and 9505 in cooperation with SCI Broadband. We're going to have a short presentation on the project.
And I think Scott Savage is here to present on the project. And do you want me to just put the map up first, or where would you like to?
Do you want me to come up before you? Yes.
Yeah, that'd be best, Scott. Thank you.
Not sure if we want to start with the map. That works.
And this is Scott Savage from Savage Communications that'll be presenting here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Not the budget first, or?
Let's start with the map. So again, appreciate you having us here today. You know, we've worked with Pine County over the last couple of weeks. It's been a very tight timeline to put a project together. I think 4 weeks in total to put a project together and identify low to moderate income areas within the county that would work and put together a project in a timely manner. We've identified those areas on the map. You can see in orange, those are areas that would qualify for this grant. And within that project area, there's 487 homes passed. And it looks like the total mileage within that area is 87.9. If there's any questions on the map up here or not.
Scott, do you just want to, you've got some different labels. There's RDOF and there's LTD RDOF. Do you want to just explain how those pertain or fit into the project or don't?
Absolutely. So the purple is SCI RDOF that was awarded. And then you can see the blue areas, that's LTD areas that were awarded. And you can see the LTD areas, they're kind of really sporadic through this service area. There's not a whole lot there. And SCI within the project area is probably the biggest winner with regard to RDOF. So we're trying to work in and around those areas. We can't use this funding to go into these areas as well. We cannot have duplication of funds. And we are aware of that. Those funds are not included in here, so we're not using duplication of funds for this project. And then the white areas, that's an area that does not qualify, that's not an LMI area.
Do you mind getting me a tea?
You want to go over to we can go over the capital outlay for the project. Are you able to zoom in maybe just? So as you can see, as I mentioned, there's 487 homes passed. That equates to 5.5 homes per mile. So very low density. The cost per location, the overall cost of the project is just over $3 million. And we're asking for just under $2.8 million in grant funding. And SCI would be putting in $256,000 into this project, and that's the equipment, and then also everything after the pedestal to the house. So the drop to the house would be covered by SCI, and all equipment within the project. Grant will not cover any equipment, so SCI is going to have to cover those costs, which total $256,000. But if you look at the numbers, we're hoping to get a 60% penetration in these areas. That's a hope. Whether or not we do it, we'll have to see, but that's what we're running our numbers on, which give us just under $200,000 in annual revenue. And after the revenue, our EBITDA numbers, about 25% of gross, which puts us at $50,000 annual. After depreciation and taxes, we're looking at just under $17,000 a year annual. And I kind of want to point this out because this is what makes these projects in these rural areas very difficult. As you can see, we're putting in $256,000 and we're looking at a 15-year return on this project. So it's a risk by us. If we're not getting that 60 homes or 60% penetration, obviously that ROI extends out much further than the 15 years.
And so it points really to the fact, Scott, that if the ROI will never work if you had to use all your own money.
Absolutely.
I mean, you'd have a 200-year ROI, which is impossible.
Absolutely. And some people would even ask, well, why are we even doing this project? It's a 15-year return. We're a private business. Why are we going to do it? One of the reasons we would look to do it is because it's in our backyard. Our home office is in Hinckley, and we currently service the Hinckley and Sandstone areas. And, you know, we feel it's necessary for us to invest in this area. So we have the resources here, we have the technicians in place, we have the backbone infrastructure in place. There's a lot of things that are in place that we feel we're able to do this. Let's see here. What else do I have for you? And one other thing I wanted to point out too is you can see our average monthly recurring revenue is $57. And a lot of people ask about low income programs. It's difficult for us to discount any more than it's $57. It comes out to an ROI. We're looking at 15 years today with 60% penetration. If we cut that number in half, now we're at 30 years. It's not feasible. So low income program for SCI to offer in this area, it's not realistic. And I know that question is going to get brought up.
I appreciate you bringing that up, Scott, because it's a question we've all had. You and your company has had that forever. I mean, we're in a tough spot, even if people want it and they can't fit. What do we, I think there's some other programs that will maybe be coming that might help with some of that, but this program is not yet. I mean, you have to have an ROI. I understand that.
Right, and we do participate in the current EBB program, the Economic Broadband Benefit Program, so we do participate in that. And any additional federal programs or even state programs that come up, we'll absolutely be looking to participate in those programs.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
So what's included in the 57 a month for, I mean, is that the basic package?
That's the basic service. So we have packages that run from $40 a month all the way up to $129.95 residentially. And this is kind of the average monthly recurring we see on the service. With that said, I don't know if you have any additional questions, anything.
I do.
Yeah,
I can.
it is the time for the board to ask questions. So Terry, if you have.
It is time?
Yep, right now.
When I used your service before, we could bundle the phone and is that still viable?
Absolutely. So we do offer cable TV and phone service as well.
Yeah, okay. Which is beneficial because you can drop that $25 a month it costs you just to have a landline if you want that,
Right.
So that can be contributed. I don't know, is that up the package? I can't remember.
Yes.
So not much though.
Yeah, it does up the package. I mean, I don't know. When you bundle, it's all different.
Yeah. I can't remember the numbers either. Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Scott, you had said that the services vary from $40 to $120. What is the difference if I had a $40 plan versus a $120 plan?
So currently, the way our pricing and our services work, it's going to be changing in these areas because this is going to be a fiber to the home project with gigabit symmetrical services. But currently in the Sandstone area, we offer, I think it's a 15 meg download for $40 a month and a 250 meg download for $129.95. And then there's packages in between. I know it doesn't pertain to this project, but we are doing an upgrade in the Hinckley Sandstone area too in our HFC network, our existing network, which would be 1 gig down by 100 up. But for this project, it will be a fiber to the home project with gigabit symmetrical speeds available.
This area that you're going to is so underserved that I am very excited that you're willing to take on this project. So thank you for doing this.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
We are at we can open it up for public comment if there's any public that wish to ask any questions that are dialed in. We'd have no other public at this meeting room. You see anybody waving their hand, Ryan?
There's one more comment I can make.
Yep.
We have 30 months to build the project, and we do expect the project to be completed within that 30 months. We're not willing to commit to an earlier date just because of supply chain issues right now throughout our industry with getting fiber and equipment in. But we do feel confident we'll finish the project within the 30-month timeline.
What about contractors? If they have the product, can you get contractors to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's our response, whether we have a contractor or not, it's our responsibility to get the actual physical material here.
Right.
Yeah.
We will close the public part of the public hearing. And one last shot from any of the commissioners for any questions. The county board then would, I would consider a resolution for support of this 2021-36.
Commissioner Ludwig will move that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lovegren will second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Ludwig, second by Lovegren. Is there any further discussion from the board? I hear none. If hearing Hearing no more discussion, the clerk want to call the roll?
Sure. Chair Holland, just to confirm,
Yes.
Commissioners Waldham and Moore are absent today. Is that correct?
Commissioner Waldham and Moore are absent today.
Okay, thank you. District 5, Commissioner Ludwig.
Aye.
District 1, Chair Holland.
Yes,
District 3, Commissioner Lofgren.
Aye,
Thank you.
thank you.
thank you, Scott. We will move forward with this. Leslie and David will be in contact with you if we need any further assistance from you, but I do want to just publicly thank you for your willingness to come and sit down with county board members and with the county and put this package together. It's been desperately needed. It's really our first public-private partnership with broadband that we know of. So thank you much for
Yes.
stepping up to the plate.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate the support as well, and the partnership is very important to get these projects going.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing that SCI truck around the corner, you know. All right. Keep chipping away, you know, we only got, 298,000 acres left to play to, so, okay. The next public hearing will be the Department of Employment and Economic Development Deed Community Development Block Grant. And this is a grant for a shelter improvement project in cooperation with A Place for You. Who's gonna lead this one off? Vicki, Pam? I don't know.
Vicki, you're muted.
I think I'm unmuted now. My apologies, everyone.
I can hear you now. Yes.
Awesome. Either Leslie or I. Leslie, did you wish to speak to this, or would you like me to start?
You can do it.
Okay. All right. I am the executive director of A Place for You, the transitional homeless shelter that has its center here in Pine City. And I want to first thank you for allowing us to come to this meeting and for Pine County to potentially be our host for this project. This is a unique opportunity for the shelter, and we are very appreciative of it. I want to just give a 30-second overview of the shelter for those who may not be familiar with it, and especially our call-in folks who may not be familiar with it. The shelter has existed since 2012 in partnership with 6 counties. And we are unique in that we serve single men and women from this 6-county area. We are funded about 47% by donations and 62% by corporate donations, and then an ESG grant from the state of Minnesota that does pay for some of our operational costs in salaries. In the last year, we were able to serve 92 individuals from a variety of the counties. And the good thing about last year, despite all the craziness within the pandemic issues, is that our housed rate went from 47% to 52% upon leaving the shelter. So we're very proud, and it's just been such a good thing. This potential project, what we would like to do with this project is rehab the current building that A Place for You operates from at 220 3rd Avenue Southeast here in Pine City. The building is 110 plus years old, and as you can imagine, simply over time, the building itself deteriorates and the space isn't as usable as perhaps it could be in light of COVID restrictions and quarantine necessities, all of those pieces that we've all been dealing with in the last year. Now, this particular grant does not allow us to build a new shelter. Should it be awarded, it does allow us to rehab the building, as I mentioned, that we occupy. We have a space in this building that is currently occupied by Furnishings for You that has been a tremendous partner in keeping the shelter going. And we've been informed by those folks that sit on the board of Furnishings for You and are deeply involved in the operation of it, that they are looking for different space. And so then that space in our building becomes available to the shelter proper. What we would like to see happen, should this grant be awarded, is that we would begin by rehabbing the space currently occupied by Furnishings for You into 3 to 4 new resident rooms, plus a new kitchen area that is better suited to enact social distancing, easier to clean, provide more proper food storage for us than we currently have. The new resident rooms in that part of the shelter would include ensuite restrooms, in order that if we are called to quarantine individuals, we have a more proper space to do so. Currently, we have shared restroom and shower areas in the shelter proper. Moving into the area that the shelter currently operates, we're hoping that this grant can provide new HVAC system that is more in tune with the air filtering requirements that have become so important to us during this pandemic time. And then also to replace the soft flooring in the shelter with hard surfaced flooring that is easier to clean and sanitize. We also have staff working in office areas that we are not able to social distance. We are not able to put up plexiglass, for instance, to enable safe contact. So our present kitchen areas would be remodeled into office and meeting space. They're about 10 by 10, so they're not huge, but that gives us a little more social distancing and a little bit more private meeting space if that becomes possible. We would also be replacing the lighting in the shelter with energy efficient LED lighting. Moving then to the outside of the shelter, we would be looking at replacing the roof and new siding for the building. So that is the project in a nutshell. And we're looking right now at perhaps a grant ask of 469, 470 to 500,000. The max available through this grant is 600,000. Any questions that you have? I'm sure you have many. in here. I should say that when we have scrambled a bit to try and put this together, as Scott mentioned, 6 weeks has not been a tremendous amount of time. We did contact 3 licensed contractors, 2 in Pine and 1 in Kanabec County, which are in our service area. And one of those contractors responded and has had their crew in and out of the building to try and determine numbers for us at this point. Obviously, if the grant is awarded, this project will be put out for public bid as well.
Terry, you got any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you covered it quite well, Vicki. I think most of us are aware of the building you've been in. You know, we know the history. It was a store, it was a clinic, it was a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
And it served its purpose. It does need work. I know, I've been there. It needs TLC. This would, you know, I think many people would desire to build a new building, but that is out of reach. And like many of us have done with our own homes, we have rehabbed them into something that is certainly usable. And if we could rehab this and get several more years out of it, I think it would be a wonderful addition to East Central Minnesota. So
it would be an awesome addition, I think, Steve. I should mention that if we are able to add new resident rooms, that increases our bed capacity between 27 and 36%, which means depending upon the length of stay, we would increase our total capacity for residents served somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 individuals a year. So that would be a tremendous help because we are the only shelter that serves single individuals, men and women, between Minneapolis and Duluth and between Pine City and Brainerd. There are other shelters. They serve a more specific population, but however, this shelter, which all of you have supported so well, is unique in its service base.
I think when in 2010 or so, when people started talking about a shelter, I might have been one person that said, "Who is homeless in Pine County?" And people started pointing me in directions that I hadn't looked before. And I have continued to be amazed at the amount of people that have been turned away on a monthly basis because we have in or they don't meet the criteria that is set down by the board of directors that you have to keep your nose clean to be there. So it does serve a wonderful purpose. If we're getting now 52% of the people to help them get straightened around so they can get a stable housing situation, I think that's a huge accomplishment. So thank you, Vicki, and
Thank you.
Been involved. Do we have anybody from the public that's on the call that wishes to say anything?
Steve, Mary Kay put something in chat too.
Okay.
Carol, someone's waving their hand.
Yeah, it looked like Carol is waving. Carol, are you able to unmute yourself?
I believe I just did. Did I?
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think this proposal to help with this grant is really phenomenal. You know, Vicki did kind of summarize the history and everything, and if you've ever even taken a walk into the building, you know, it just, we've had many, many people in the past that have offered their volunteer time and their skills and their TLC to keep the building as great looking as it is. But I think to take advantage of this proposal would just be wonderful for the people that are homeless right now and to make it more like a home for them.
Thanks, Carol. Carol, for the record, could you state your name and where you're living?
Yes, Carol Vanderhork, Pine City.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
This is Mary Kay Sloan. I would just like
Go
to,
ahead, Mary Kay.
I would just like to speak in support of the proposal. I think it's really needed, and I think the benefits from it will be overwhelming. I think it's a good thing for all of our communities. Thank you.
Mary Kay, can you state your name for the record?
Mary Kay Sloan, Pine City.
Thank you. Anybody else? Got anybody? Right. Okay, we'll close the public part of the hearing. Get one last shot at it, board. If anybody, Matt, you got any?
No, I'm good.
Comments? Terry?
No, I'm good. I think it's a great plan that they've got going.
We'll then look for a resolution 2021-36. Wait a minute, I'm on the wrong resolution. 37, 2021-37.
This is Terry. I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2021-37.
Thanks, Terry.
Commissioner Ludwig will second.
Thanks, Matt. We got a motion by Lovegren, seconded by Matt. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
District 5, Commissioner Ludwig.
Aye.
District 1, Chair Holland.
Yes.
District 3, Commissioner Lovegren.
Aye.
Thank you.
That concludes our public hearings for the day and the agenda. No further business on the agenda. I will declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you all for showing up and taking part in the meeting. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, Terry, stay on.
Okay. You look like you're thinking really hard.
I'm just watching the participants as they go. So I registered you for that commissioner conference for July.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Yep. Wondering what your thoughts are as far as lodging.
No clue. No clue.
Okay, because
What
there's a component with it. And
Mhm.
so, you know, some commissioners, they drive back and forth, others prefer to stay. So I just want to get your thoughts on that. Lodging is available at the same location as the conference.
Let's do that. I hate driving down there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday conference. So I'll make reservations for Wednesday night and Thursday night.
Perfect. Thank you, Deb.
Yep, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Terry.
I'm so sorry that email got buried in some other ones. And so I did not see it until this morning. And I was like, oh, I wasn't
No,
waiting.
that's okay. And I guess I should not assume. I just assume that since I